Good morning, my dear students. And in this video, we are going to discuss introduction to chemistry. Means how many branches are there in the chemistry, branches of chemistry, and we also discuss what is atom, Dalton's atomic theory, limitations to Dalton's atomic theory, atomic mass, and different scales which were used to measure the atomic mass, like hydrogen scale, oxygen scale, and carbon scale. All these we will discuss in this video. First, chemistry, majorly for NEET or JEE, any program you take, there are three main branches in the chemistry. That is physical chemistry, the first one. Second, organic chemistry. And third one, inorganic chemistry. Right? Any competitive examination you take, majorly NEET and JEE mains and advanced, like KSET, MSET, anything, any competitive examination, these three parts of chemistry is mandatory. And one more important thing, any competitive examination you take, the contribution of these three parts is equal. Means 1/3 part of the questions will be from physical, and 1/3 from organic, and 1/3 from inorganic. Means the weightage also equal. No one is higher and no one is lesser. All are having same. But the thing is that physical is conceptual, organic also conceptual. It is depending on your IQ level. Completely means every question you have to think very much. Whereas inorganic is a memory based questions. Means depending upon your memory power, it is somewhat easy compared to physical and organic. Okay, it is the branches of chemistry. Now, in this video, what we are going to discuss? We are going to discuss what is atom. First, the definition of the atom. And the second, we will discuss about Dalton's atomic theory. Dalton's atomic theory. Right. And third, we will discuss atomic weight or limitations of Dalton's atomic theory. And fourth, we will discuss atomic mass. Atomic mass. All these four concepts we are going to discuss in this topic. Please listen again and again. If you are not understanding the English, no problem. You can listen again and again. And please note down the points, whatever I am giving. Not while I am explaining. For each and every explanation, I will give one notes and you copy that notes. Right, next. Let us discuss what is atom. Atom is nothing but, simply I can say that it is ultimate smallest and minute and indivisible particle of an element. Means any element you take, it may be hydrogen or oxygen or nitrogen, any element. This hydrogen is composed of atoms, and these atoms are very small, ultimately small, and these are indivisible, means which cannot be broken furtherly. Indivisible, right, is called as atom. In order to explain about this atom, the first scientist who proposed one theory was Dalton, and the theory was Dalton's atomic theory. What are the important postulates he has given? All these we will discuss. Dalton's atomic theory. Right. So in this Dalton's atomic theory, what we will discuss means first definition of the atom. According to Dalton's atomic theory, atom is the smallest indivisible particle of an element, is called as atom. Second point, if I take different atoms like hydrogen and oxygen, right? If I take all the atoms that are belonging to the hydrogen element only, all these atoms will have same properties, mass, size, and all these properties will be same. All these properties will be same. That is the second point. What is second point? Atoms of same element. Atoms of same element possess similar properties. That means they may have same size, same mass, like that. And the third point, atoms of different element. Atoms of different element means now I am taking one atom from hydrogen, one atom from oxygen. These are the two atoms belonging to two different elements, hydrogen and oxygen. These two atoms will possess two different properties. That means they may have different mass and they may have different size. They are not having same properties. They differ in their properties also. That is why, so the third point has given that atoms of different elements possess different properties. That is, they may have similar, different size and different mass. And fourth point, I am taking atoms, two atoms of different elements, and these are combining. These are combining. That means two hydrogen atoms and one oxygen atom are combining to give one new compound which is called water molecule. Now tell me here, in order to form one molecule of water, here we require 2 moles of hydrogen and 1 oxygen. What is the ratio of these two atoms? 2:1, which is a simplest whole number ratio. Not only here, you can take CH4 also, methane, where you need to take 1 carbon and 4 hydrogen. The simplest whole number ratio is 1:4. Means, what is the fourth point means? 2 or more atoms of different elements combined in a simplest whole number ratio to form new compound called molecule. Means always they form simplest whole number ratio. And these type of compounds are called as stoichiometric compounds. These compounds are called as stoichiometric compounds. Understood? Means the compounds in which the various atoms are present in simplest whole number ratio are called stoichiometric compounds. If they are not in whole number ratio, they are called non-stoichiometric compounds. That is fourth one. And fifth one, atoms can neither be created nor be destroyed. You just see this example. Here 2 hydrogen atoms we have and 1 oxygen atom we have. After the completion of the reaction also, we have 2 hydrogen atoms and 1 oxygen atom. Here we haven't created a new atom and we haven't destroyed the existed atom also. Means atoms can neither be created nor be destroyed. Means atoms cannot be created, cannot be destroyed. These are the 5 important postulates of the Dalton's atomic theory. Once again, we will look overall Dalton's atomic theory. What is Dalton's atomic theory and what are the important postulates? Everything we can discuss here. Tell me. The first point, definition of the atom. See here, elements consist of minute, means ultimate smallest, indivisible, means which cannot be divided furtherly. Particles are called atoms. The first point, definition. Second point, atoms of an element are identical to each other. They have same mass and same size. Means atoms belonging to the same element may possess same properties. That means they may have same mass and same size. Isn't it? And third one, atoms of different elements will be differ in their properties. That means they may possess different mass and different size. Third point. Fourth point, compounds are formed when atoms of different elements combine with each other in a simplest whole number ratio. This is fourth point. Atoms cannot be created, cannot be destroyed. We cannot create atoms and we cannot destroy the atoms. So these are the important postulates of Dalton's atomic theory. So what he did for 5 years, he observed the properties of so many compounds and finally introduced this theory. In 1803, he started the experiment and in 1808, he proposed this theory. Almost for 5 years, It took 5 years to give these 5 points, right? And for this, there was no practical evidence. It was completely theoretical evidence. That is why it was discarded. Now, we will discuss what are the drawbacks, means limitations. Limitations of this Dalton's atomic theory. What are the limitations? Very simple. The first point, atom cannot be divided further. But after the discovery of subatomic particles, right, like electron, proton, neutron, etc., etc. After the discovery of these subatomic particles, it has been proved that atom can be divided furtherly. Means atom is breakable. It can be broken into further. So means the first limitation was proved that wrong. This was the first limitation. What was the second point given by the Dalton's atomic theory? Atoms of same element will possess same mass and same size. But after the discovery of isotopes, do you know the term isotope? Isotope means the species having same atomic number but different mass number are called as isotopes. Same atomic number but different mass number. After the discovery of these isotopes, the second point, what was the second point? Atoms belonging to the same element will possess same properties like size and mass. Now, if I take isotopes, for example, hydrogen, I am taking hydrogen element, and this element will have 3 isotopes, hydrogen 1 and hydrogen 2 and hydrogen 3. Actually, it is called as a protium, it is called as a deuterium, it is called as a tritium. These 3 are isotopes. Why these 3 are isotopes means these are having same atomic number 1 1, and all 3 are belongs to the same element hydrogen. But their mass numbers 1, 2 and 3. The mass numbers are entirely different. Hence these are called as isotopes. But what was the second point given by the Daltons? What he has told? He told that atoms belonging to the same element should possess same mass. But here these 3 atoms are belonging to the same element hydrogen, but they have different mass. That means the second point was also proved that wrong. This was second point. And third point, what was the third point given by Dalton? Atoms of different elements should possess different properties, means they may have different mass and different size. Let me take, but after the discovery of isobars, isobars means what? Same mass number but differ in atomic number. Again, we will discuss about these isoterms in atomic structure. Differ in atomic number. Means here I am taking 2 elements. One element belongs to carbon and one element belongs to nitrogen. And carbon atomic number is 6 and its mass number is 14. Nitrogen atomic number is 7 and its mass number is 14. These are the 2 atoms belonging to 2 different elements, but they possess same mass. Means the third point given by Dalton's atomic theory was also proved that wrong. Why? Dalton's has told that when you take 2 atoms of 2 different elements, they should possess different mass. But here these are having same mass, 14, 14. But they are different. One is carbon, one is nitrogen. That means the third point was also proved that wrong. This is third limitation. And fourth limitation. What was the fourth point given by the Dalton's atomic theory? It is nothing but atoms combined in a simplest whole number ratio to give the stoichiometric compounds like H2O, FeO, Fe2O3, etc., etc. So if you take FeO, the simplest whole number ratio is 1:1. If you take Fe2O3, the simplest whole number ratio is 2:3. These are stoichiometric compound. This was given by the Dalton's atomic theory, right? But after the discovery of non-stoichiometric compounds means the compounds in which the atoms are not in a simplest whole number ratio are called non-stoichiometric compounds. Like I will take one example, Fe0.940. In this, how many iron atoms we have? 0.94. And how many oxygen atoms we have? 1. What is the ratio? 0.94:1. That means it is not a simplest whole number ratio. That means fourth point was also proved that wrong after the discovery of non-stoichiometric compounds. Before this, it was correct, but after the discovery of non-stoichiometric compound, it has been proved that wrong. And the last point, fifth point, atoms cannot be created, cannot be destroyed. Okay, it was right, but if you observe the nuclear chemical reactions, like I'm taking one beryllium whose atomic number is 4 and whose mass number is 9. When it is allowed to bombard with the helium particle 2He4, so we will get a carbon 12 6 and one neutron will be obtained. See here, before the reaction we have beryllium and helium. These atoms we have taken. After the reaction, these atoms are no more. Means these have been destroyed. And after the reaction, before the reaction we don't have carbon, but after the reaction we have one carbon. This means it has created and these are destroyed. Means atoms can be created, can be destroyed according to the nuclear chemical reaction. Means after the discovery of nuclear chemical reaction, it has been proved that atoms can be created and can be destroyed. Means the fifth point was also proved that wrong. So for each and every point, it took 5 years to postulate those 5 points, and we have took 5 minutes to prove them wrong. So that is limitations. Because of these limitations, the Dalton's atomic theory was discarded, means rejected. Now, what are the limitations? Once again, we will recall. First point, what is that? It was indivisible, means cannot be broken into further. But after the discovery of subatomic particles, it is no longer indivisible, means it can be broken into electrons, protons and neutrons. That is. Next, atoms of an element are identical to each other. They have same mass and same size. But after the discovery of isotopes, it has been proved that atoms of same element do not possess same mass and same size. That is a limitation. Third point, atoms of different elements differ in properties. That is, they have different mass and different size. But after the discovery of isobars, it proves that atoms of the different elements may possess same mass. That means it is also wrong. Compounds are formed when atoms of different elements combine with each other in a simplest whole number ratio when before the discovery of non-stoichiometric compound. But the existence of non-stoichiometric compounds proves that the atoms of different elements always do not combine in a simplest whole number ratio. The fourth one also wrong. Atoms cannot be created, cannot be destroyed. But nuclear chemical reactions have proved that atoms can be created, can be destroyed. So these are the 5 limitations of Dalton's atomic theory. Please make a notes, it is very important. Right. Next, we will discuss upon atomic weight. We will discuss about atomic weight. What is atomic weight or atomic mass and how we can write all these things we will discuss. Atomic mass. Right. So actually there were 3 different scales to measure the atomic mass. Right. Finally, we have concluded with only one, that is carbon scale. Right now, whatever we are using. So already we have discussed that atom is the very smallest particle. Being a smallest particle, and if you want to weight that smallest particle, it is very difficult in practically. Practically, we cannot weigh the atom accurately because it is very, very small. So that is why they took one element as a standard to compare the atomic weights of other elements. Right? So that is why the first scale, very simple. For example, if I draw a line here, right, this is the first line I have drawn. If I ask you what is the length of this first line, means you can say that, sir, I need scale to measure it. Compulsory you need scale, there is no doubt. Right? I am taking this first line as the standard line. Standard line means reference. Now second, I am taking one more line. Right? One more line. Sorry. One more line. Second, I am taking one more line. Right. What is the second line I am taking here? This is given. If I ask you between 1 and 2, which is longer, which is shorter? Compared to 1, this is longer or shorter? Longer. To say that the second one is longer than first one, do you require any scale? No. Just by comparison. How many times it is longer means you may take, say, 2 times. And if I draw another line, third line, right, which is exactly half of this. If I ask you between 1 and 3, compared to 1, 3 is a longer one or shorter one? You can say that it is shorter, sir. And for this also, you don't require any scale to measure it. By comparison with 1, you can easily say, isn't it? So, in the similar way, in order to measure the atomic masses of various elements, they have taken standard elements. The first scale was hydrogen scale. Means they took a hydrogen atom as a standard. Now what is the atomic mass with respect to hydrogen scale means? What is the atomic mass with respect to hydrogen scale? It is nothing but the atomic mass is the just number which is equal to how many times the given element is heavier than the hydrogen atom. Means simply mathematically you can find atomic weight or atomic mass A is equal to mass of an element. Mass of an element means whose atomic weight is to be determined. Mass of an element by mass of one hydrogen atom. One atom of hydrogen. One atom of hydrogen will give us atomic weight. This is hydrogen scale. Means they took a hydrogen element as the standard one to measure the mass of any other element. And after that, they have come with the oxygen scale. Oxygen scale. Here, what is atomic weight means? Say, mass of an element by 1/16th the mass of 1/16th the mass of oxygen 16 atom, one atom of the oxygen element. And finally, they have concluded with carbon scale. Now we are using this one only. According to this one, atomic mass is equal to mass of an element by 1/12 the mass of one atom of carbon 12 isotope. These are the three different scales that were used to determine the atomic mass of any element. Once again, we'll recall all these three methods. Write atomic mass first. Right? What is atomic mass number? I can take atomic mass hydrogen scale. See here, it is just number which indicates how many times the mass of one atom of the element is heavier in comparison to the mass of one atom of the hydrogen atom. Mathematically, you can write mass of an element by mass of hydrogen atom. Understood? This is. Next, oxygen scale. Already I told, in oxygen same, the mass of one atom of the element is heavier in comparison to 1/16th the mass of one atom of oxygen 16. So mass of an element same, only here the denominator will change, 1/16th the mass of oxygen atom whose mass number is 16. Next, carbon scale. Carbon scale also same. Here instead of 1/16th we will take 1/12. Now we are using this one only finally. This is three different scales which are using to find out the atomic masses of various elements. Right? Now second, we will go for the atomic mass unit. Simply we can call it as atomic mass unit. What is this atomic mass unit? Atomic mass unit. I can call it as AMU, atomic mass unit. What is this atomic mass unit? Let me explain. Very simple. So now finally we have ended up with carbon 12 is our standard atom to measure the atomic mass. And what is the atomic weight according to carbon scale? Atomic mass A is equal to mass of an atom, any atom you take, by 1/12 the mass of carbon 12 isotope. Now means if you want to proceed by using this method, you should know the weight of one atom of the carbon 12. Right. So practically means by using measuring scale balance, we can find out the mass of one atom of carbon 12 isotope was found to be 1.9924 into 10 to the power of minus 24 grams. This was the weight of a single atom of the carbon 12. But AMU means 1 AMU is equal to, definition, 1/12 the mass of one atom of carbon 12, isotope. 1/12 the mass of one atom of carbon 12. But we know the mass of single atom of the carbon 12. How much? 1.9924 into 10 to the power of minus 24 grams. Now, if I want to find out 1 AMU is equal to 1/12 into 1.9924 into 10 to the power of minus 23 grams. On solving, you will get 1.66 into 10 to the power of minus 24 grams. If you want to express it in kilograms, it is 1.66 into 10 to the power of minus 27 kg. Understood? This is one AMU value. AMU means it was a unit to measure the atomic mass, hence it was called as atomic mass unit and it was abbreviated as AMU. Understood? So like this, according to this one, we can write some examples. Hydrogen, the atomic mass of hydrogen is 1.008 AMU. Right. Oxygen was 16.0 AMU. I'm not saying grams or like that, and I'm saying that chlorine is approximately 35.5 AMU. Actually, they do not have any unit, but we are completing with the AMU. So why these elements are having fractional values? It is whole number, but these are fractional value. Means these are not average, these are not actual atomic weights. These are average atomic weights. What is average atomic weight and what is average atomic mass? How can we find out all these things? We can discuss in our next video. Right. And before that, I would like to discuss once again atomic mass unit. It is not number, atomic mass unit. That is AMU. Now, the quantity 1/12 the mass of an atom of carbon 12 is known as AMU. Clearly the definition, right? Next. The actual mass of one atom of carbon 12, already I told, 1.9924 into 10 to the power of minus 23 grams. And 1 AMU is equal to 1/12 of that value. So that is equal to 1.66 into 10 to the power of minus 24 grams. This was a previous question in NEET and mains as well as. So there was a question, 1 AMU is equal to. This was the answer. And examples already we have discussed. In next video, why these elements are having fractional value. What is average atomic weight? And how we can find out the average atomic weight. All these things in next video we can find out. Whatever the concept I have explained in this is important, means you should aware about these things, then only you can learn something new in the further topics. You don't think that these are basics so we can neglect it. Not like that. When you are starting to learn something, means you should start from A, not directly from Z. So this is how we can grow up in the chemistry. So please subscribe and stay tuned with my channel Shlokas Academy. Thank you.